Hello, this is an online program called Pathways to Optimum Health, Whole Body Cleansing for the Massage Therapist. Welcome. I'll be your presenter today. My name is Patty Nuovo. I'm a licensed massage therapist and a naturopath. I've been a co-director of a massage school and a massage instructor since 2001. My passion is business, ethics, and nutrition, and I love helping others grow their businesses and learn how to eat and stay healthy. I've created this format to make these 4 continuing ed hours for the massage therapist interesting and informative. I'm also the author of 2 ebooks, Soul Accounting, The Power of Money and Emotion, which is about getting money out of your head and into your pocket, as well as solving the riddle of the money mind in 4 steps. Now the guidelines for this webinar class. You can take as long as you like watching and rewatching this webinar on whole body cleansing for the massage therapist. When you're finished watching, send me an email at pcnuovo@yahoo.com to request for me to send you your final exam if you have not received it as an attachment. When you have completed your final exam, mail it back to me at pcnuovo@yahoo.com. I will grade the exam, and when you pass with a 70% or higher, you will receive your certificate of completion for this NCB TMB approved online massage therapy distance learning class. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Now on to our presentation. Whole body cleansing will be broken up into 3 parts. Part 1 will be about digestion. Part 2 will be about toxicity and detoxification. And our Part 3 will be all about nutrition. Part 1, digestion. Here are some facts and statistics that I found very interesting and would help you to understand more about this topic. Did you know that over 100 million people in the U.S. suffer from digestive disorders? And that over 65 million Americans have chronic heartburn at least 3 times a week? $13 billion is spent on acid-blocking medication. And over $3 billion is spent on over-the-counter products like Tums and Rolaids. Over 58 million Americans suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, which is the 2nd leading cause of missed work. The first is the common cold. And over 5 million suffer from chronic constipation requiring a doctor's visit. Americans spend over $120 billion on medical care for digestive order problems. So what's the effect of this? Well, we have chronic long-term diseases in our country. 70 million Americans suffer from things like arthritis. 50 million suffer from chronic diseases like asthma and lupus. 1 death occurs every 9.3 minutes from colorectal cancer. This statistic comes from the American Cancer Society. And diabetes affects more than 16 million people in the U.S. alone. Heart disease is our #1 killer. And all these chronic long-term diseases have their roots in digestive disorders caused by inflammation. So let's look at the digestive tract and its processes. Did you know that thinking about food actually begins the digestive process? Saliva in the mouth has digestive enzymes that help to break down the food, so it starts in the mouth. As you swallow and the food travels through the esophagus through the sphincter muscle called the lower esophageal sphincter. It then enters into the stomach. The mucus lining increases in the stomach as it secretes hydrochloric acid and pepsin, which signals now for this esophageal sphincter muscle to close and tighten. Now, if this doesn't happen, you can reflux food back into your esophagus, which doesn't have a mucus lining to protect it. Have you or someone you know have ever had things like heartburn or reflux or pain after eating? A lot of people don't know, but many of these is the result of having too little stomach acid in your body. Now, with regards to stomach acid, the aging process decreases the stomach acid produced in our bodies. Now, this stomach acid triggers that tightening and closure of the esophageal sphincter, which prevents reflux. Digestive acid acts as a natural antibiotic. It also is critical to protein digestion. It also aids in the absorption of vitamins and minerals. Having low stomach acid, unfortunately, will prevent the closing of that esophageal sphincter, which can cause the stomach contents to reflux into the esophagus, which would then cause irritation and inflammation. The body also can become susceptible to bacterial infection and parasites from low stomach acid. Also, you can have insufficient protein digestion, which causes things like brittle fingernails, thinning hair. Undigested protein also becomes a toxin to the body as it passes through the digestive tract if it's not broken down there. You'll also have poor mineral and vitamin absorption, things like calcium and zinc, which are important for bone and immunity health. Also, B12 is important for energy and anemia and increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Having low stomach acid also creates an alkaline stomach environment, which causes food to ferment, which will then cause things like bloating and gas and heartburn from food not digesting. The problem with antacids are that taking them worsens the problem by creating an out-of-balance stomach. It changes the lining of the stomach, and it can also create and become a precursor to pre-cancerous conditions. The main causes of impaired digestion are things like stress, inadequate chewing, food sensitivities, which, by the way, can show up 36 hours after eating. Things like sugar, dairy products, corn, or wheat products usually are some of these food sensitivities. The good bacteria, which helps digest and absorb foods and aids in the production of B vitamins, competes with the bad bacteria. And the ratio is 80-20, meaning you need to have 80% good bacteria and 20% bad bacteria. Impaired digestion, also there's a symbiotic bacteria. They live in harmony in the system and help us thrive. But too much bad or pathogenic bacteria can cause stress to the body. And any undigested food creates this cycle of bad bacteria proliferating, which irritates the digestive tract and creates too much sugar. After the stomach, we're now on to the small intestine. Now, it's not called food, but now as the bolus leaves the stomach, it passes through two ducts from the pancreas where digestive enzymes are produced. Some of them are things like protease. That aids in protein digestion breakdown, into amino acids. You also have amylase. This is for carbohydrate or start digestion into glucose. Lipase, fat digestion breakdown into fatty acids, and cellulase, which breaks down the cellulose in plant and vegetable matter. This process must take place for the body to have nutrients available. So as the bolus travels to the small intestine, where most of our nutrients are absorbed, the mucus lining is a gatekeeper, where broken down nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. To give you a perspective of this organ, this is where digestion takes place and absorption. And the surface space of the small intestine is the size of a tennis court. The mucus lining of the small intestine acts as a barrier and a filter to keep out toxins and undigested foods and parasites and bad bacteria from entering the bloodstream. After the small intestine, next the food travels to the colon from the small intestine through the ileocecal valve. Here's a depiction of the large intestine and its corresponding parts. The large intestine is the final stage of digestion. It's where the colon takes water and nutrients out of the bolus. It's also where we eliminate our waste. Also in the large intestine, 74 different salts are absorbed in the body. And the salts act like catalysts to turn on or stop or turn off things in our body. And the bacteria are present in the large intestine, the healthy ratio being 80% good bacteria and 20% bad bacteria. But impaired digestion occurs when we're not breaking down proteins, starches, and fats, where we have undigested food will interact with the bad bacteria, where too many intestinal toxins occur, which can cause things like leaky gut and inflammation, which can create an influx of toxins and can create chronic diseases. Now on to part 2, which is toxicity and detoxification. Here's a quote from Dr. Oz, just recently as seen on The View on May 2nd, 2013, where he said, I quote, "Every person should detox at least once a year." From Dr. Oz. Let's take a look at the types of toxicity our body is affected by. You have toxicity of the mind, which would be things like negative thoughts and beliefs that you carry. You also have body toxicity, things like metabolic and external toxicity from your environment. You also can have emotional toxicity, which are negative feelings, and spiritual toxicity, which is a negative belief system about why you're here and who created you and what is your purpose in life, for example. Next, I'll go over each of these types of toxins and most importantly, some practical suggestions about what you can do about to change and/or remove them. From the body, the elimination for the body's toxins, we have 4 areas. You have the skin, through perspiration, removes body's toxins. The lungs, removes them through respiration. The kidneys and bladder removes them from urination. And the large intestine removes toxins through defecation. Waste products. It's been estimated that waste products are eliminated from the body in the following proportion by weight. We exhale 70% of our toxins through the lungs, 20% through perspiration from the skin, 7% through urination from the kidney bladder system, and 3% through defecation from the large intestine. There's also an unknown amount that's excreted through things like menstrual blood or tears or sinus mucus. A significant part of our body's systems are all about the eliminating organs. These organs detoxify foreign matter that enter our body through the skin, the digestive system, and lungs. Today, we are all exposed to hundreds of toxins and pollutants through food additives, pesticides that are not naturally found in nature. Recent autopsies indicate that there are between 300 to 500 toxins present in human tissue, toxins that did not exist more than 50 years ago. An essential function of our detoxification and elimination systems is to cleanse the body of byproducts from metabolism, digestion, toxins, and pollutants. The liver takes fat-soluble toxins, makes them water-soluble, and sends them to the kidney. The spleen and the lymphatic system are also a helpful garbage disposal system in our body. We also have exogenous toxins, which come from the external sources, things like tobacco and drugs, stimulants, and amalgam fillings. You also have atmospheric pollutants such as motor exhaust and carbon dioxide, lead, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. We also are exposed to agricultural pollutants such as insecticides, pesticides, and fertilizers. Also, we have genetically modified food, organisms. We also have food that's been irradiated. And our beauty and skincare products, things like deodorants, shampoo, body lotion, makeup, toothpaste, mouthwash, soap and hair styling products, suntan lotion, shaving creams, powders, and perfumes, the list goes on, also have toxic ingredients, as well as our cleaning products in our home. Thought and emotional body, we have toxins. Negative thoughts and painful feelings are capable of interfering with normal bodily processes. Examples like grief, anxiety, depression, stress, worry, problems in either our familial or romantic relationships, work relationships, resentments, loneliness, stress, expectation, fear, low self-worth, and feelings of not belonging or feelings of feeling unloved all affect normal bodily processes. We also have endogenous toxins, which would be internal in the body, the result of viral or bacterial infections affect the normal functions of our body. This can also include the byproducts of waste metabolism from yeast, molds, and fungus. Also the toxin resulting from improper or impaired digestion. If it's protein related, it putrefies. If it's sugar or starch related, it ferments. And if it's fat related, it becomes rancid. These all can happen internal in the body. And research studies show that the regular use of carbohydrate and the lack of fiber in the diet increases the transit time to the bowel waste and stimulates the process of putrefaction. That means producing toxins in the large intestine. We also are bombarded with toxins that can be generated within the body from heredity, from our own DNA or a weakness in our genes. Some examples are sickle cell anemia or hemophilia or cystic fibrosis, to name a few. So you might ask, where do toxins go in the body? Well, they go into our joints, which can cause joint pain over time, as well as things like arthritis, bursitis. It also can go into our fat cells and become fat-soluble. Things like pesticides and herbicides, they stay within the cell wall. It also can go to our brain, where the studies have shown that things like aluminum is possibly associated with such diseases as Alzheimer's. Toxins can also go into the lungs. Chemicals from smoking causing chronic bronchitis or even lung cancer. Toxins also can be deposited into the colon, where when you have a toxic chemical remnants of consumed foods like nitrates from meat can cause things like colon cancers, as studies have shown. It also can go into the water compartments of our body, which is inside our cells, in the bloodstream, or even in our lymphatic system. So how do we get rid of the toxins that we're bombarded with, both inside and outside of our body? Well, first of all, we can stop putting more toxins in. We also can decrease the exposure to environmental toxins. And the second thing is that we can clean out the toxins that have accumulated in our own body. Cleansing the body. Cleansing literally flushes the body of all of the, quote, stuff that has accumulated over the years. Cleansing the body gives the body a chance to function optimally. It also helps prevent the progression of degenerative types of diseases that plague adults and children. So how long does the cleansing process take? Fortunately, it doesn't take as long to detox as it took to accumulate the toxins in our body. And the time it will take to cleanse your body depends on several things, such as your commitment to the cleansing process, also your age and your mental state. The negative emotions or feelings are very powerful toxins to the body. Also, the level of active dis-ease currently present in your body are all factors. Let's take a look at the detoxification and elimination organs in our body and see how each organ system does its job, and then how we can help in this process. One of the first has to do with the skin, which is the largest organ in our body. The skin is made up of multiple layers of epithelial tissue that guard underlying muscles and organs. It plays the most important role in protecting against pathogens. Its other main functions are things like insulation and temperature regulation, absorption, excretion and control of evaporation, sensation, and things like vitamin D and vitamin B synthesis. Proper skin hygiene. Dead skin cells continually slough off the epidermis and mix with secretions from the sweat and sebaceous glands and the dust found on the skin to form a filthy layer on its surface. If it's not washed away, the slurry of the sweat and sebaceous secretions mix with dirt and dead skin cells and decompose by bacterial flora, producing a foul smell, which is where we get body odor. Cosmetics should be used carefully because these may cause allergic reactions, and most have harmful, even cancer-causing ingredients. The skin supports its own ecosystem of microorganisms, including yeast and bacteria, which cannot be removed by any amount of cleansing. In general, the microorganisms keep one another in check and are part of healthy skin. But when the balance is disturbed, there may be an overgrowth and infection, such as when antibiotics kill bacteria, resulting in an overgrowth of yeast. So one solution to this, one healthy solution, is dry skin brushing. And you start with skin brushing in the following ways. You brush your dry body before you shower or bathe, preferably in the morning. You start at your feet and always brush toward your heart. You use brisk, circular motions or long, even strokes. You brush either with a brush or a loofah all the way up your legs, then over your abdomen, buttocks, and back. And if you have cellulite on your hips and thighs, concentrate there a little longer. For complete dissolving of cellulite, brush for 10 minutes daily for several months. Brush lightly on sensitive areas like breasts and more firmly on areas like the soles of your feet. When you reach your arms, begin at your fingers and brush up your arms toward your heart. Brush your shoulders and chest downward toward your heart. You want to avoid brushing anywhere the skin is broken, where you might have a rash, infection, cut, or a wound. And then you finish by taking a shower, if you choose, using a hot, cold setting to further stimulate the lymphatic system and improve circulation. Dry off with a towel vigorously, and you can then massage with pure plant oils onto your skin, such as almond oil, sesame oil, avocado, coconut, olive oil, or cacao butter. Begin each morning with 3 to 5 minutes of dry skin brushing. This increases the blood flow, removes the dead skin cells, and helps move lymphatic fluids. Another thing to be concerned with our skin is any type of sun damage. The skin has pigmentation, or melanin, provided by the melanocytes, which absorb some of the potentially dangerous ultraviolet radiation in the sunlight, which is why we darken when we're exposed to sunlight. It also contains a DNA repair kit of enzymes which helps us to reverse ultraviolet damage. But using a healthy sunscreen when out in the sun, as well as clothing, and before 10 a.m. in the morning and after 4 p.m. are the best times to let the body get some sun, but not too much where it would harm our body. The next organ are our lungs. The lungs are responsible for survival issues, those are emotional issues that we would have, dealing with fresh air, aerobic exercise, but we also have problems with things like air pollution, smoking, or even secondary smoke or chemicals in the tobacco affect the lungs. Ideally, you want to exercise your lungs. You can do this as simply by taking between a 20 or a 60-minute walk away from traffic in a park or a residential street, but walk with determination, moving your arms in rhythm and breathing through the nose, long breaths of oxygen deep into your lungs and exhaling through the mouth. In the winter, you might want to cover your nose and mouth with a warm scarf so as not to inhale any frigid air directly into the lungs. The fast walking and arm movements stimulate the pumping of blood through the lungs and moves lymph through the body. Inhaling oxygen deeply helps to purify and oxygenate the blood supply. Exhaling eliminates the mucus and toxins from the lungs. You know, when we exhale, we lose during a day typically about 5 points of water vapor from our lungs. The next system, the bladder and kidneys. The bladder and kidneys, the kidneys excrete a variety of waste products produced by metabolism, including the nitrogenous waste like the urea, that's from protein breakdown, and uric acid from nucleic acid metabolism. The bladder is the organ that collects the urine and excretes it prior to disposal by urination. The urine enters the bladder via the ureters and exits via the urethra. To support a healthy bladder, fruit juices are wonderful. Things like watermelon juice, or even eating the watermelon, cantaloupe, apples, are a natural diuretic. They help to eliminate any water retention in the body. The first urine of the day will be colored, and the remainder of the day it should be clear. The more clogged your eliminating systems are, the more water retention you will have. When the body is unable to eliminate toxins rapidly due to a clogged elimination system, it will keep them in suspension until such time as we can eliminate them. Consuming too much salt contributes to water retention. Table salt has very little nutritional value. So another source of getting iodine in our body, which helps support our thyroid, is using things like kelp or sun-evaporated sea salt. Next, the large intestine. The ascending colon, the transverse colon, the descending colon, sigmoid, and then the rectum, anus. All those parts are all a part of that system. Large intestine or colon, both words are synonymous. The colon is a circular muscular tube approximately 5 to 6 feet in length and has an average diameter of approximately 2.5 inches. The small intestine empties its contents of digestion, known as chyme, into the first portion of the colon known as the cecum. The colon is divided into 3 distinct sections that border the abdomen region of the body. Its starting point is at the lower right side of the abdominal area where the small intestine empties into the cecum. The cecum is the first part of the ascending colon. The ascending colon extends from the cecum up to the liver, where it bends at a 90-degree angle to the left and crosses the top portion of the abdomen area, where it's known as the transverse colon. At the top left portion of the abdominal area, at the spleen, it bends 90 degrees downward to create the descending colon. It then continues down to the left side of the abdominal area to the pelvis, where it becomes known as the sigmoid region. The sigmoid colon empties into the rectum, where waste material, called feces, is collected and eliminated through the anus. The main functions of the colon are things like the absorption of water and minerals and the formation and elimination of the feces. The material of digestion is a substance called chyme, and the chyme is moved along the intestinal tract by intestinal wall circular muscles contractions known as peristalsis. These circular muscles get their signal that produce peristaltic movement from nerve supplies within the colon. However, when toxic materials are present, they can inhibit the nerve supplies, and the peristaltic action slows down and can even stop. The process of digestion from food ingestion into the mouth to defecation at the anus normally requires between 12 and 24 hours. And defecation should occur within 30 minutes following every meal and once upon rising in the morning. This is the ideal. The functions of the colon are things like maintaining our proper water balance. Too little, we're dehydrated, and too much, we're bloated. It's also where salt absorption, which act like catalysts in the body, occur. It's where we reclaim water, where we absorb vitamins such as vitamin K. It's also a storage area of waste material and the elimination of all digested and undigested food material and other waste products. It's also where we assimilate and can reabsorb still usable materials, such as water, chemicals, and foodstuffs. Here are some more facts about the large intestine. But here is where digestive tract problems exist. Fast food restaurants and grocery store refined and processed foods are high in saturated fats and low in fiber. When waste material moves slowly or are allowed to remain stagnant within the large intestine, decomposed materials are the result. These decomposed materials create an increase in disease-producing bacteria, which produce very toxic substances. Now remember, under normal conditions, the large intestine is a two-way street. That is to say that not only does it eliminate unwanted material, but it also reabsorbs needed and necessary substances as well. But when the intestinal tract flow slows down or comes to a standstill, the large intestine begins to reabsorb these very toxic substances that should have passed through. And from this problem are created all of the many health-related problems. According to the experts, approximately 92% of all diseases found within man come from these types of large intestine problems. The large intestine contains the largest concentration of bacteria anywhere within the body. Some of the major bacteria, like Bacillus coli and Acidophilus, provide important functions that include things like the synthesis of folic acid, the synthesis of B vitamins, and the synthesis of vitamin K from our foods. The large intestine contains the largest concentration of bacteria, both good and bad. Talking about peristalsis, the elimination process of unwanted material through the large intestine through circular muscle contractions is called peristalsis. Things like colon hydrotherapy provide therapeutic improvement of atonic or a sluggish large intestine's muscular tone, which improves and facilitates peristalsis. The effects of a stagnant colon can be manifested in many forms of intestinal disorders, like constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, diverticular disease, colitis, halitosis, skin problems, headaches and migraine headaches, low back pain, fatigue, lack of energy are just a few. Cleaning from the inside out. Everyone knows the importance of cleaning the outside of their body. They bathe and clean themselves daily. What most people don't realize is that it represents only about 10% of the total body surface. The other 90% of the body must be cleansed through internal applications. And it is by these cleansing methods that your body's health and well-being are created. Conditions of the large intestine. Constipation is defined as self-poisoning or auto-intoxication. And some of the effects of constipation are things like leaky gut, irritable bowel, and inflammatory bowel disease. Lupus and Crohn's disease, arthritis, and colitis are all inflammatory and autoimmune diseases which all have their roots in chronic constipation. Here's a colon cleansing protocol. During the colon cleansing process, it's essential to drink pure water, not tap water. Drink fruit and vegetable juices. Eat raw, organic foods, which provide the dietary fiber and whole nutrition our body needs. Colonic irrigation, which helps restore bacteria balance, removes toxicity by elimination, replaces flow and muscle strength, and restores water balance. It also unblocks the colon wall so that salt, nutrient, and water absorption can now take place. In essence, it restores health. What is colon hydrotherapy? Well, one kind is called a colonic. It's safe and gentle infusion of warm filtered water which matches the body temperature of approximately between 98 and 102 degrees. The process is restorative, painless procedure, which is both relaxing and effective. The individual lies comfortably on a cushioned treatment table, and a small disposable speculum is gently inserted into the rectum. The therapist then monitors the temperature and pressure of the water infused in and out of the large intestine, without any assistance on the part of the individual. The colon hydrotherapy method cleanses the entire colon without stressing the individual. This method provides a closed system in which waste material is eliminated through the instrument and out the drain line, avoiding any offensive odor and maintaining the dignity of the individual. Unlike enemas Colon hydrotherapy does not require you to get up and down off the floor to go to the bathroom. You simply remain lying down in a comfortable position on a table during the entire treatment. The whole colon hydrotherapy equipment has these factors in it: a very low starting and filling water pressure, and treatments are performed very effectively below 2 psi, precise and adequate water temperature and regulation, water purification filters, which include a particle filter, a carbon filter, a ceramic filter, and a UV light filter, a built-in double-check valve which prevents wastewater from returning to the water supply, a viewing tube so you can see what's actually coming out your large intestine, an instrument cleansing and disinfecting process after every treatment, and this instrument has a disposable unit which eliminates any possible contamination to the client from a previous treatment. The frequency of colonics, a series of colonics ranging from 3 to 6 treatments, is initially recommended. Remember, years of improper nutrition cannot possibly be reversed in just a few treatments. More treatments may be required in cases of chronic constipation or an atonic colon condition. Following the initial program, it's advisable to have at least a series of treatments with the change in seasons to maintain optimal colon health. Another colon hydrotherapy procedure can be the use of a Kalima board. Because digestive tract cleansing, specifically the large intestine, assists and helps the body prevent intestinal tract disorders, and at the same time minimizes the exposure to potential pathogenic agents. Colon hydrotherapy using a Kalima board allows for the gentle infusion of purified water into the large intestine, which helps soften and removes waste material such as fecal matter, gas, mucus, and mucoid byproducts, and toxic compounds such as prescription medications from the colon. The result of this clean water cleansing process is a cleaner and healthier colon that helps improve the overall health of the body. The home colon cleansing using a Kalima board is simply another way to cleanse the colon from hard toxic waste matter. It detoxifies the colon using this home energy board, helps to stimulate our immune system, to help nutrients get into the bloodstream for the body to use where needed. And lastly, an enema is an affected. Limits include a very short distance to the descending colon that includes the rectum and maybe slightly beyond. Enema should only be used occasionally because it stimulates the digestive tract's automatic natural urge to expel material within it when when water is added. It may be a little uncomfortable or awkward since getting up off the floor or out of bed becomes a challenge. And even though you are very careful as you work your way to the toilet, you can still experience an unwanted and very uncomfortable situation if rectal leakage should occur. Enemas are a tool in the digestive tract hygiene, but at least they provide some temporary relief, just like over-the-counter drugs, except they have no harmful side effects. And a fleet enema is not recommended because of the chemicals used in that product. Our digestive tract ages, and unfortunately, one of the facts of aging is the gradual weakening of our system. The stomach of every individual simply produces less and less of the digestive acid and enzymes that we need to break down and absorb our food and nutrients. When digestive aids are blocked, it's not healthy for us. When they're added back into the diet, they encourage better intestinal absorption of things like calcium and other ingredients vital to bones, muscles, hair, skin, and nail health. Some of these digestive items can be found naturally in things like papaya fruit or pineapple, or things that contain levels of HCl, hydrochloric acid. When you have an injured bone or tissue in the body, all injured tissues, the healing process, what's important to remember is to avoid eating red meat, drinking colas, and all products creating caffeine. Also, you want to avoid eating any foods that have preservatives placed within them, because preservatives contain things like phosphorus, like in soda, which can lead to the bone density lost and osteoporosis. Taking a boron supplement is a very good alternative, since that helps in the quality of the repair and in the healing process within broken bones or injured tissues. Let's take a look at some additional health tips for you. It can't be overemphasized, but rest is important. So is exercise. So is sleep, between anywhere from 5 to 8 hours. The healthier you are and the older you are, the less sleep you would actually need. You want to include things like fun and fulfilling activities, having a positive mental attitude, and having any emotional processes and release your body of emotional negativity and any emotional pain. And even having spirituality into your life, believing in something larger than yourself, because you didn't create you. These all aid in your overall health. On to part 3, nutrition, which is also known as nature's nutrition in your kitchen. The principal elements in the human body are oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sodium, iron, iodine, sulfur, chlorine, fluorine, silicon, and manganese. All repair and regeneration of our body comes from within. The body that is out of balance, when the blood stream, cells, tissues, organs, glands, and the rest do not contain these elements in the proper proportion or are deficient. In order to regain and maintain the proper balance of health, we should eat live, vital, organic foods. These elements are found in raw vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes. Oxygen is one of the most essential elements. But did you know that as soon as food is cooked, its oxygen is lost? And the live enzymes are destroyed when cooked above 130 degrees Fahrenheit. This is also where our nutrients are dissipated. Eating raw fruits and vegetables and or taking bone healing supplements that contain calcium, magnesium, potassium, and zinc are all a good idea. The healing properties of these minerals are essential to the quality of repair of injured and broken bones. And these healing minerals are also very important for maintaining the quality of the muscles within your body, including those such as your heart. The underlying cause of intestinal tract problems is what you are putting into your mouth. If you're really serious about wanting to become healthier, then start eating better. Choose your foods wisely because of their food value, not because they are convenient or taste good. Start including more fruits, nuts, and raw vegetables into your diet. Start eliminating restaurants' fast foods and the grocery store's refined and processed foods, high in saturated fats and low in fiber, from your diet. And you'll notice the marked beneficial improvements. Start drinking plenty of water, purified, instead of tap water, and replace water substitute drinks you swallow each day with purified water. You'll begin noticing how all of the stiffness and tightness leaves your body, and you begin to have more energy to do things. Consider creating a sanctuary environment of clean air and water within your own home. This is to say, adding a water purification system that manages your entire home and getting ionized or ozone equipment to clean and purify the air, as well as a complete home water purification system, is important. Also, you might want to start learning more about live, cell, and naturally prepared or non-cooked foods, and how they were intended to provide you with health and wellness status you now seek. I remember a proverb that states, "Every trip starts with the first step." And if the trip is long, make each step shorter. Remember, permanent healthy diet changes require a longer time period to accomplish, so make each step in changing your eating habits a little shorter. What are the type of nutrients vital for good health? Well, in addition to vitamins and minerals, you want to have high fiber in your diet, omega-3, oils, probiotics, and enzymes at every meal. Let's look at each one of these separately. What are the benefits of fiber? Including more fiber in your diet, which is the indigestible parts of fruits, vegetables, grains, beans, and legumes, helps to regulate things like blood sugar. It also binds to toxins in the digestive tract and is removed from the body by colon elimination. It contributes greatly to regularity to the contractions of the peristaltic muscle by having bulk in the system. Fiber also helps to lower cholesterol. What are the benefits of good fats in your diet? Well, omega-3 oils contain essential fatty acids. Things like sardines, salmon, and some plants contain this. The benefit of good fibers is that it helps protect the cardiovascular system. It's necessary for proper digestive health. It lowers cholesterol, reduces inflammation, and is vital for proper brain health. Some of the benefits of probiotics is that it lowers the risk of pathogenic infection in our digestive tract. It stimulates and strengthens our immune system. It aids in digestion and elimination, and it helps in the production of B vitamins. It helps to detoxify in our digestive tract. Some food examples are things like goat yogurt, miso, sauerkraut, Rejuvilac, and kombucha. The delivery system of a tablet or capsule that would be a probiotic must be enteric coated. It has to say that on the box to protect it and enable it to bypass the acids of the stomach so it can enter directly into the intestinal tract. Here are some of the major digestive enzymes, what the enzyme is, where it's produced, where it's released, and the pH level of digestive enzymes. The benefits of digestive enzymes, which are protein-based substances found in the cells of all living things and essential for every function in the body. It also helps to break down larger substances into smaller substances. In other words, enzymes helps us break down the food we eat into manageable size so that we can absorb the nutrient and benefits from our digestion. And as we age, we have less digestive enzymes in our body. So it's a good idea to supplement our body as we get older with digestive enzymes to help us break down what we eat so we can absorb all the good stuff back into our body. All live foods contain enzymes. For example, protease is for protein breakdown. Amylase is for starch or carbohydrate breakdown. Lipase is for fats. Cellulase is for fiber. Unfortunately, packaged fast foods, canned, frozen, irradiated foods contain little to no enzymes. So supplementing with a digestive enzyme that contains at least protease, amylase, lipase, and cellulase is important for you. So you might ask, how to choose healthy foods? Where do I start this process? Before you put your favorite food items in your shopping cart, you should know about the ingredients in those foods. You really need to take the time to examine labels so that you can make healthier choices. Ingredients which are listed on the packaging. For example, the FDA requires food manufacturers to provide labels on their food. They need to list all ingredients in descending order according to their weight. The most heavily used ingredients are listed first, and lesser amounts are found toward the end of the list. And even warnings, starting January 1st of 2006, the FDA now requires warning levels on all food products that may contain or come in contact with food allergens, like peanuts, due to the life-threatening allergic reaction in some people. It also requires that all food products list the amount of trans fats in the nutritional fact box. Here are some of the things to watch out for. Synthetic substances have no nutritional value. The word artificial color is used to imitate real foods, such as strawberries, oranges, blueberries, or other colorful fruits. They're marketed to children who are attracted by bright and fancy colors. These unhealthy listings of artificial colors like FD&C blue, number 1 and 2, FD&C green, number 3, FD&C red, number 3 or 40, FD&C yellow, numbers 5 and 6, orange B, citrus number 2. Artificial colors can cause neurological symptoms such as hyperactivity in children, sensitivity, or severe allergic reactions to those substances. For example, yellow 5 causes severe allergic reactions, particularly in aspirin-sensitive people. And federal law now specifies and requires it to be labeled in this way. Look out for things that say artificial or imitation flavors. The most common imitation food labeling are things like butter, vanilla, cherry banana, raspberry, or lemon. Watch out for artificial sweeteners. They replace sugars without the calories, but can trigger an array of neurological symptoms, which can aggravate chronic conditions, and yet they are approved by the FDA. Things like ACE-K and aspartame, neotame, saccharin, sucralose, tagatose are all known carcinogens. The brand names like Splenda, NutraSweet, Sweet and Low, or Equal are substances known as excitotoxins, which are chemical substances that can damage neurons in the brain. And such health complaints are headaches and migraines, seizures, panic attack, depression, bipolar disorder, and memory problems. Recent research also suggests that artificial sweeteners trick the body to associate sweetness with 0 calories, thus resulting in cravings for real sugar to go up, and there is a tendency to overeat the real stuff since the body no longer has the mechanism in place to associate sugar with the sense of feeling full. So you may be defeating the purpose of eating fewer calories by replacing real sugars with artificial sweeteners. Another thing to watch out for are dairy derivatives. For those allergic to dairy products, be careful of products that claim to be non-dairy. Coffee creamers, for example, contain a milk derivative called casein, which actually is the main ingredient in glue, Elmer's glue, which is why there's a picture of a cow, Elsie the cow, on glue. The FDA requires these substances to be labeled as milk derivatives in food claiming to be non-dairy. Watch out for things that are called emulsifiers, stabilizers, or thickeners. There are many food ingredients used to emulsify, thicken, and stabilize food products, like low-fat yogurt or sour cream, milk, ice cream, mayonnaise, or salad dressing. Also, watch out for things, fat replacements. You'll find them in the labeling on baked goods, spreads, sauces, frosting, fillings, processed meats, frozen desserts, extruded products, beverages. Provide fullness and texture to food in much the same way as real fat does, but it causes irritation in the gastrointestinal tract and may cause problems for those who suffer from digestive tract conditions. Product names such as Olean and Carrageenan should be avoided. Watch out for anything that says MSG, which is monosodium glutamate. It's used as a flavor enhancer and causes what many people know as Chinese food syndrome. Many produce headaches, migraines, asthma, nausea, fatigue, and depression to those who are sensitive to it. And MSG is also a slow neurotoxin and has been found to kill brain cells in laboratory animals. On your label, look out for processed oils. The production of trans fatty acids during the manufacturing process should be avoided. A better choice of oils would be to include monounsaturated oils like extra virgin olive oil and a moderate intake of saturated fats such as organic virgin coconut oil. You want to avoid brominated vegetable oil, which is added to carbonated beverages, especially citrus-based sodas like orange soda. Added to oil which offers a thicker appearance to many sodas and cannot be easily expelled from the body and accumulates in fat cells. It's also been shown to cause thyroid, kidney, and liver dysfunction in rats. Avoiding hydrogenated and partially hydrogenated oils. This is a process that produces unhealthy trans fatty acids. White refined flour, which is stripped of its fiber and essential nutrients, is a high glycemic food which can spike your blood sugar level. White refined flour is found in many processed foods, baked goods, snacks, and breads. Many whole wheat products add molasses to white flour to create the familiar brown wheat color. Don't be deceived. You want to avoid refined flour for those suffering from candida, insulin resistance, hypoglycemia, diabetes, and obesity, since it causes yeast overgrowth, weight gain, and spiked blood sugar levels. Look for and avoid refined sugars, which is the most heavily used of all our food ingredients in the United States. It's found in little-known foods such as fried foods, hamburgers, tomato sauce, canned vegetables, and salsa, to name a few. Sugar and artificial sweetener consumption is linked to diabetes, obesity, heart disease, hypertension, and cancer. Look for the label that reads sodium nitrite and sodium nitrate and avoid it. These additives preserve the red color in meat. Otherwise, it would turn gray and would not look appealing to consumers. They also react with stomach acid to produce substances that have been shown to cause cancer, brain tumors, leukemia, pancreatic cancer in animals when consumed in large quantities. Food manufacturers now add ascorbic acid or bacon to inhibit nitrosamine formation. Look out for soy. Soy has found its way into all processed foods. It's almost impossible to weed it out of our diet. Some have life-threatening allergic reactions to soy. Others need to shy away from it because it increases estrogen, and some suffers from hormonal imbalances because of this. Soy may be a contributing factor in many chronic conditions and many chronic digestive disorders. Soy is not an alternative to breast milk. Some soy-based infant formulas cause permanent damage to the infant's gastrointestinal tract. Trace ingredients, incidental additives, proprietary spice blends, natural and artificial flavors and colors. The FDA does not require a breakdown of ingredients where a, quote, company blend is proprietary. Some ingredients may not be fully disclosed to protect a company's secret formula. So use caution when you see these types of generic statements on the ingredients label because you don't really know what these secret formulas and blends may contain. So let's look at some shopping tips. You want to do the majority of your shopping along the perimeter of your grocery store. Fresh and refrigerated whole foods are usually found along the outer aisles. Heavily processed packaged foods are found towards the center aisles. Let's look at some eating tips. You want to increase the amount of raw foods in your daily diet. When you cook your food, you destroy many of the essential vitamins, amino acids, and enzymes. If you do cook, use alternatives like soaking your beans, or sautéing, steaming, or flash cooking your food. You want to always choose fresh foods versus any processed or packaged foods. Foods that spoil quickly are better because they're more bioavailable to you, they're easy to digest, they provide naturally occurring vitamins, minerals, and amino acids, and the enzymes are intact. And they're cheaper. Your food bill will go down the more fresh foods you eat. An ingredient tip. The shorter the ingredient list, the better. You want to avoid food products that have long lists of ingredients. They tend to be loaded with unhealthy artificial additives and preservatives. You want to choose foods that have whole, nutrient-dense, natural ingredients. You want to also look at the expiration date on your foods. Check the dates on all foods, particularly beef, poultry, and fish, and dairy products. You want to purchase the freshest produce possible and choose the food products in the back of the case rather than the older foods that tend to be pushed up front. Here are some health tips that can start your process of having a healthier body and living a longer life. You might want to consider buying a juicer and juicing fresh, live fruits and vegetables daily. Have a live cell green drink every day. Exercise more every day for at least 20 to 30 minutes. You want to move and sweat. You want to play for at least an hour a day. Get outside and smell the fresh air. You might want to stop watching TV and get off the computer. Stop reading newspapers. Stop listening to the radio and eliminate all sources of negativity from your daily life. Start eliminating the 3 major ones that I just mentioned. You also might want to stop or reduce other bad habits like smoking, drinking alcohol, sodas, caffeinated coffee, black tea, highly refined and processed foods. You might want to start eating lots of fresh, raw, organic fruits, veggies, and sprouts. Enjoy baked potato, brown rice, and whole grain products. You want to eat until satisfied, and by eating slowly, it gives your brain a chance to tell your body, I'm full now. You want to cook in stainless steel or glass containers, and wearing natural fiber, cotton clothes, and avoid clothing made of synthetic fibers. Drinking purified water, and drink lots of it daily, 8 glasses of water a day, or half your body weight in ounces. You might want to skin brush daily. Take a hot and cold shower to increase your circulation. You start with the hot water and end with cold. It increases your circulation through alternating the water temperature. You might want to walk barefoot in a safe area outside, at the beach or on the grass. Breathe deeply each day, taking deeper breaths, expanding. Hug a tree, smell the flowers. Begin and end each day with positive affirmations, like it's great to be alive, I love myself, I love my life, everything always works out for me. Living a healthier life. You might want to add these things like helping someone every day without expecting something in return or placing a condition. Just seeing or thinking about an act of kindness starts a positive physiological effect in your body. You might want to simplify your life by throwing out or giving away or garage saling things that you own and no longer use or want. Bury your possessions before they bury you. You might want to pray or meditate just a few minutes each day. Learn to tell jokes and laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. Enjoy your life more. It's one of the fastest ways back to health and happiness. Learn to love yourself first, and you will be able to love others more. And you might want to do a digestive tract cleanse at least once a year. Periodic digestive tract cleansing is the key to a long and healthy life and a younger looking body and face. So remember that health is a choice. Remember that the choices you make dictate the quality of life and health that you lead. To your own heart be true. The information from this webinar does not constitute advice, and the accuracy of the information is not guaranteed. Further, users are advised to seek professional medical assistance in the event that they are suffering from any medical problem. Congratulations! Now that you have finished this presentation, you must complete the final exam that was sent by attachment. Once you have completed the exam, email it to me, pcnuovo@yahoo.com. You must achieve a score of 70% or higher. An e-certificate will be emailed to you at the email address you provide and the name listed on your registration form. If you have any questions, please contact me via email or phone at 707-490-9497. The Beacon Wellness Arts Center is approved by the NCB-TMB as a continuing education approved provider, number 450919-09, and is also sponsored by the NCB-TMB to teach New York licensed massage therapist continuing education that is accepted by the state of New York for license renewal and the Florida Board of Massage Therapy, as well as 23 other states wherever the NCB-TMB is approved. Thank you, and on to better health.